Peace from the East, y'all. It's me, Bonnie, aka Davon Raymond. Welcome back to the podcast. That's right, we're doing another Peace from the East podcast episode. I've been making sure that there's a good month in between these episodes, not because of laziness or just not being interested, but because that's what I know you guys like, having huge stretches of time where I upload nothing and then bam. We all love that, don't we? That's why we subscribe. Anyway, today I have some very interesting news. By the title of the podcast and probably by the thumbnail, you can see I, the young master Davon Raymond, aka Bonnie, have turned 29. 29. Are you guys hearing me in the cheap seats? 29, 9. It's crazy. My close friend Dubs, he is 29. He'll be turning 30 in a couple of months here. So I have my reference point. He's always leading the pack as far as age slightly. So I've had some mental preparation. But to be here, 29, back in my mother's house in my semi-childhood bedroom. I always have to say somewhat because we lived here for 5 years, then we lived there for 5 years, then we lived down the block for 5, you know what I mean? There was a lot of moving as a kid, but certainly in my 2012 era of however the heck old I was, we were living here, and wow, it's just crazy to be back in this bedroom, seriously. But good morning. This is the day after my birthday. My birthday was yesterday on the 14th. Today is the 15th. And surprise, surprise, my mother's birthday is tomorrow. So what did I get her? Got her some... just kidding. So that would be a great thumbnail. No. I'll just talk to you why I have toilet paper rolls too in my bedroom and why I have this. My friend bought me this for my birthday because we were walking around in, there's plenty of grocery stores depending on where you live, right? Kroger's, we don't have that. We have Price Chopper, or we have Market 32 by Price Chopper here in upstate New York. Back when I lived in Rhode Island, they did have some Market 32s in Massachusetts, from what I remember, but mainly in the state of Rhode Island, it was Stop and Shops, Dave's Marketplace, Ocean State Job Lot, Trader Joe's, that type of thing. I'm sure there's maybe some other, there's a really fancy grocery store. I can't think of what the heck it was. It's a really fancy pants grocery store. You walk in and a butler, he just spanks you on the ass and sends you on your way. No, it was really nice though. I don't remember. I was going to Google it, but who's got time to Google anything anymore? We don't. All right. So, yeah, 29. I'm back here in my room. How do I feel? I definitely feel as if, though, the past 9 years, I focused very heavily on females. Just being honest, very heavily on, partnership and dating and all of the stuff around pleasure, genuinely very heavy on that. Now, throughout the past 9 years or even 10 years, I have done things like get my motorcycle license. I've lived outside of state. I have had relationships. I've had some fun experiences with different jobs that I've had, gained new knowledge and wisdom, I guess. Certainly have made some successes along the way. I've had some experiments with myself, where I will decide to go sober for stretches of time. Because even though I used to be a really big weed guy, weed was my thing. You guys know if you didn't know, there was this website from 2018 to 2020 something. It was called the Weed Tube, and there were all these disgraced, you could say, they probably wouldn't like that, YouTubers who were making weed content on YouTube, but guess what? YouTube doesn't quite like everything that they were doing, and a lot of people who have made money on YouTube as weed tubers talking about cannabis and stuff, their videos, if they weren't flagged, they were shadow banned, or they were demonetized, so they didn't get any money, or they had a little money and then they got no money. So they decided, I'm going to make my own website called the Weed Tube. And it was popping, it was cool. They had their own app for a little bit. Then they started hemorrhaging money. And then at some point, it's like the users went up, and then the users went down as the cost went up. And then they were like, we're just going to cut this because we've done it for a few years, and now it's time to end this. So I respect it. It was a cool experience. And you guys may remember me back from the early Peace from the East days, because that was me doing all of that. So just to be clear, I was just a tuber on the site. I wasn't like a boss or an owner or affiliated in any way other than, hey, should I sign up for this website and upload videos? I think I should. And that's what happened. Actually, here's just to tie into the next thing. I want to talk to you guys about social media a little bit, because I know in the last episode we talked about social media and dating, so I'm not going to go heavy into that. But I have not been on social media since that last upload, because I don't want to be on scrolling on Instagram, scrolling on TikTok, scrolling whatever, losing my mind, scrolling on Facebook, seeing people from high school dating this one and down. It's like, I can't subject myself to this distraction anymore. But what was I going to say about Instagram? Oh, well, in the past, if you guys follow my Instagram, you would know, hey, I'm active there all the time. Now, if you're watching this, you'll see I'm most active on YouTube, because this is where it's at, baby. Not on Instagram, where I am, let me get some water, where I am just constantly comparing my life to others. It sucks, but people do it. Maybe mentally I could just get past it and stop doing it, but probably not. I feel like I'm always going to, because I'm like, that is the relationship that I've created with and maintained with Instagram. That is, I want to see, like, I used to follow all these different accounts, and I was like, oh, dude, I'm trying to get sober. Like, I don't want to see all these weed accounts. So then I replaced all of that with, like, you know, either famous people or, like, actors that I like, or, like, surfers, and then, like, anime and stuff like that. So now I'll just be, like, watching, and I'll see, like, old movie clips, and then I'll see behind the scenes, and then I'll see anime, and then I'll keep scrolling, and I'll see, obviously, like 20 girls in a row, you know, with their boobs and all this stuff, like all these ridiculous thirst trap videos, you know, blank in bio, you know what I mean, and just like many other things. But when I was watching the people surfing, like the different like surfer influencers, that was starting to get a little bit difficult to just watch on a daily basis, knowing that here I am back in New York, not in Rhode Island by the beach, not vibing and chilling by the coast, not going to the beach whenever I had free time and basically free time. It was so awesome. I'm telling you, I know it's January, okay, I know it is, but I would very well go to the beach, like, on a day like today. On a day like today, I have to work in a few hours. And, like, let's see. So in, like, 4 hours, I have to be at work. Which means, if I was in my old situation and I worked within that area, dude, I would have been at the beach at, like, 10 a.m. maybe, and just either, even though it's freezing, sat out there, recorded a video, sat out there, just looked at the ocean, probably uploaded to Instagram, but just enjoy. I'm physically at the beach. Here I am. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to walk on the beach. I'm going to enjoy the ocean for a period of time, and then go back to my life. But it does feel like an escape. It feels like a fun thing to do, and I love it. I love it. I love it, and I miss it, and I cannot wait to return to the beach. Okay, so I think in the last upload, and I don't even remember if it was a podcast or whatever the last thing I uploaded was, I was talking to you guys about my health journey, right? So you guys can have fun following my channel, because I'll be talking about all types of stuff. I have recently gone back to my rheumatologist to address, speaking of medical marijuana, right, from way back when, to address my back issue, my ankylosing spondylitis. There's a whole video about it that I just uploaded not too long ago. You guys can watch that if you'd like, or just watch someone else's more educated video talk about what it is. It's an autoimmune disease that gives you some issues like inflammatory arthritis and other issues throughout your body, but that is the main one, and I have certainly felt periods of time where the pain was immaculate, and then the pain, and there were other times where the pain was just less severe, like little annoyance pain, like bothersome, but not like fully debilitating pain, you know. So I recently went back, I made a video, a vlog of me going to the rheumatologist and then returning home and just talking to you guys about my experience. And now it's been a couple of weeks since I've gone. I've started taking a new pill, which has its own side effects, which I'm not a huge fan of. I've already taken an MRI, an X-ray, and we'll be doing blood work in a couple of weeks or something like that. So I'm just kind of stepping back into this medication world, and honestly, I probably would have dubbed it, probably would have ignored it had I not had different things happen in my life. And recently, the pain has been returning in a way that is impossible to ignore. So it was like, okay, so you're going to suffer this pain, or you're going to suffer this pain and address it. What are we going to do? I decided to address it, and I'm really happy that I'm back in the saddle of taking these drugs from the rheumatologist, and just hopefully over my next however many years I have left, this is what we do. When we hit 29, we start talking as if we're, 1 foot in the grave. I've been talking like that for a while, though. Yeah, I just want the rest of my years to be solid and good, and not full of pain that I could have addressed. And that's really what it is. All right, guys, so I did have my hair, definitely feels like flat right here. Yeah, so I had my hair in braids for the past couple of weeks, and we'll take it out. My mom, she'll take it out on like a random day, and then we'll redo it that day. So my hair mainly has been pulled back or pulled to the side or whatever. And now, today at least, it is out and about and loving to be breathing. Does my hair really move on its own? Not really. Kind of a little bounce, but not really. I think in another couple of years, we'll finally get to that length where it's like, damn, brother, that's dope. Like, I'd like to get to that level, but right now, we're just on the baby stages of growth. And it looks like a little bit wavy, kind of, for those of you who are familiar with black hair, it looks a little bit wavy straight in the front. The reason is because I have not washed it since I took it out of the braids last night. I took it out of the braids, I just combed it really quick, and then that was it. But I'm actually going to, full on, shower, that would be nice, a full on shower, and, just get ready for work like I normally would, and my hair will be nice and wet, and then not as, it'll probably look the same, to be honest. But, yeah, so let's just skip on to the next segment, which is my journey. A long time ago, I made a video called The List, of me wanting to, get sober, get my credit together, buy a car, get a certain amount of savings, all of the basic self-improvement things that we all know about, I wanted to do. So my new, and I've done this in the past, revised list, what is in my eye, is really short. It's a really short list. It is one list at a time. I'm looking at each item as its own list. So the first thing is making sure that I have my credit paid. And I thought I was going to be paid today, but I guess with direct deposits, I don't know, if it's a holiday, you get paid a couple days early. If it's not, you don't. So I thought I was going to be paid early. Guess not. So, but I can still send in a credit card payment. Guys, I don't have that crazy amount of debt in credit cards, a couple $1,000s to be honest with you. It's not like some of you who have like $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $40,000. Some of you have ridiculous debt in credit cards or in school debt or whatever, and I personally just have a couple $1,000s of consumerism. So of course I did use the one credit card for like important things, like rent and less important things like the rental, like car rental. So much money on a car rental, so much money spent. That was back when I was in Rhode Island / Massachusetts. I was living in Rhode Island, working in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Taxes are going to be fun this year. Right, so you worked in New York, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. Like, you live, like, what's going on? Yeah, taxes are going to be fun. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I did the Uber rental car program. Some of you guys who do Uber Eats and DoorDash, you may, or Lyft driving, you may already be familiar with this program, but if you do have an account with them, meaning a driver's account with them, which is easy to apply for, you probably have to wait for a period of time to pass the background check, but when you do, you can then apply further, not just to drive around in your own car, but you can apply for the Uber or Lyft car rental program where you rent a car with them through Avis or Hertz or some other company, and whatever the local company is where they're providing this service, and you can, as a Uber driver, rent their car and drive their car as a driver, and for personal use. But I was paying basically $400 every week. It was 300 and change every single week. Every Thursday, I had to pay this big bill every Thursday, which meant basically I'm paying $1,200 every month for this car that you also have to pay all types of fees when it comes to tolls. Oh, this just got really boring. I'm sorry. The point is, toll fees suck, especially if you're driving around in Rhode Island because it is the smallest state. You are often jumping on highways or crossing the Newport Bridge because you want to go to Newport or whatever, and you're just always on, the damn interstate or whatever. You can take local roads, but I'm saying, me personally, I was always jumping on the highway, which meant, guess what? Toll fees, toll fees, toll fees, toll fees. I was back home in New York for 1 month, and I was still paying toll fees because they, every week, they will churn out another, 2 weeks previous of fees. So annoying. So it took me, a month after returning the car to finish paying off the damn car. That was so annoying. And so I'm just saying, for any of you guys who are interested in renting a car through the Uber Eats or Lyft rental program or whatever it is, or if you're just driving your own damn car, be aware, especially in Rhode Island, of these damn toll fees. They snap a photo of your license and they associate that license with whatever the DMV knows is the address for the owner of the car, and then that triggers an email or a letter being sent to that address, and they'll say, hey, tolls by mail or whatever, you owe $17.16 for these 4 charges or whatever. It's so annoying. I love traveling. I love going from place to place. It's funny, as I'm saying this, I'm picturing my first experience, and you guys can see this, a previous video on my channel here, way back. It was going to Rhode Island to do my surfing lesson. And I remember as soon as I was on the highway, passing through Massachusetts, about to turn down into Rhode Island, as soon as I think just as I crossed in, I was I had my windows down because it was the end of, it was autumn, the end of summer, so it was still warm. And I remember smelling, it was pretty warm that day. People were surfing and swimming in their shorts and bikinis and stuff. It was still warm. I remember smelling on the highway, passing the border into Rhode Island, it's smelling like salt, dead seagulls. It smelled like low tide. Rhode Island, from where I was at the top of the state, when I crossed into the state, it's not like the ocean was, 10 miles away. It's at least 20 miles away in whatever direction you're heading in, or 30 or 40 miles away. But as soon as I crossed into the state, I could smell the ocean, which is crazy, but maybe not. And I was just thinking about that nostalgic feeling in my nose right now. I don't know why. Does it smell like low tide in my bedroom? I hope not. It's pretty organized from what you guys can see. All right, so to kind of get things going on to the next point, I think we can switch it up to say this. I really do love my life, and I'm enjoying it a lot, and I don't want anything to disrupt my peace and fun, but I also want to disrupt my peace and fun with something good. Now, I'm currently working for a restaurant business that will allow for a consistent paycheck, provided I continue to live where I am currently living, either in my mother's house, which there is a deadline for when I am being asked to leave, either my mother's house, which again I have to leave, or I have to find a local apartment somewhere here in the capital region area of New York. So I want to really think about what it is that I want out of my life over the next 4 months. So I'm going to be making sure my credit is 100% cleared. When it is cleared, then I'm just considering I would like to have a beater car. I want a car. I need a car so I can get from A to B. First, I want to clean up the credit, and that will help me to either get a loan for the car, or maybe I'll just be happy that it's clean, and I will then save up for a beater car. But that's really what I care about right now, is making sure my credit is clean, so I'm out of past debts, and they're not currently affecting me. And then I want to make sure that I have a car, so I have the freedom. Now I have the credit freedom, and then I have the physical freedom to get around. And that just helps you mentally make decisions like, okay, so now I know this isn't holding me back, and this isn't holding me back. So sometimes it's hard for me, and maybe you too, when you're trying to consider your own life and the direction and the steps that you want to take. They can be very overwhelming because you're thinking, well, I'm going to do this and then that and then that and then this and then that and then that. And I'm really thinking about these last 3 things, but they are dependent on the first 7 things. So it's just very overwhelming, and I don't like to think too much about that. So for me, I just want to simplify my thought process, and along the way, I am then afforded fresh perspective with the no debt perspective. Is such a different perspective. You feel more confident. You feel like there's nothing pushing you down, or at least you feel much less pressure on you. So this is why I'm saying it's important for me to do these things sequentially. Debt, car, and at that point, I imagine I'm going to be much more solid. I'll be like, okay, so this job says that they will allow me to do this. So this job, many jobs do this, will allow you to be a trainer, and then you can fly out or drive out to these other new locations, and then you'll be a part of the grand opening of these new locations. And some of from the last wave of trainers that I've spoken with at my location, they've come from California, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, upstate New York, and then just all over the place, So Georgia, just all over, literally all over the place. And that made me hyped. That made me want to okay, I think I might want to stay with this company because they allow for this type of thing. What is this text message? Wow, okay, CVS. Live from CVS text messages. Hi, Davon. We're tracking a rise of respiratory infections in your area. Stay protected with a vaccine. Are you trying to get me to go back on the COVID-19? Anyway, that's an interesting text. Sorry about that. Yeah, so we were talking about just the sequential steps of taking care of my life. So when I get to that point, just to reiterate, I really want to see what I want to do. So I talked to my boss recently, hey, is that trainee transfer program a thing? They said, potentially. So in my mind, That is no. By the way, it's not fully no, but to me, I'm trying to like lock in an idea of what my future is going to be like based on practical things that I can touch and expect. So while life can be full of unexpected things, I still do know that, the sun is going to rise tomorrow. Those things, taxes, death, you can always count on those things to happen eventually. So what's really important to me right now is taking care of myself. But when I take care of myself, I want to then make it easier for me to continue taking care of myself. So what do I mean by taking care of myself? I want to be able to go to travel and do fun new things, because I really spent the last several years kind of frivolously, foolishly wasting and just a lot of wasting, and I don't want to waste anymore. I want to enjoy my life. I don't have any kids. I don't have any significant other. I'm just a single guy who wants to live by the ocean, and there's literally nothing holding me to live here except for whatever limitations I put on myself. So I'm sacrificing the ocean right now because my boss says maybe we will be able to do the training program. Now, you have to be with the company for a period of time anyway, but by the time that period of time comes around, that is when I'm supposedly supposed to be leaving my mother's house to either move to my own apartment locally, which very likely will be the case, or, have had a plan in place for me to go back to the ocean. So in reality, I'm very likely going to stay with this company and live in this area and whatever. If that is the case, if I am going to be living here, and we can do the travel program, I could stay in upstate New York for a period of time. I could stay here for a few years and be okay, because I'll be flying to different states on a, infrequent, semi-frequent basis. So that's going to be very exciting. That's going to change me. That's going to affect my want and my sense of adventure. It could trigger my adventure and make me really want to all right, I'm out of here. Or it could quell my thirst or quench my thirst. And then I'll be like, all right, this is fire. And, now that I've visited Cali or wherever, I think I want to move there. And then I'll put in the paperwork in order to try to do that. But if for some reason I decide to stay here and my company cannot do the travel training thing, then that's when I have to ask myself, okay, so do you want to still live here, try to find cheap rent, keep the same job, and just try to go on vacations? And are vacations going to be satisfactory when ultimately I know I want my lifestyle, meaning my daily life before and after work, I want to be able to have, before or after work, depending on my work schedule, I would like to be able to go to the ocean. And every now and again, taking off of work to then have, taking off of work means I'm not making any money. And that also means I'm spending money to go travel and do vacations. So it's a little bit like, okay, how do you want to do it? Do you want to travel? Do you want to live in a place that's cool? What is it that you want, and what moves can you make? And of those moves, are they helping you? Are they helping you today and not tomorrow? Are they helping you today and tomorrow, but in the long run, it's going to be about the same as doing something else, Will I be saving more money by living in a place that is more desirable? Or will I be saving more money by living in a place where I'm less happy and then have more opportunity to travel? And is all of that just a self-limiting perspective that I have because I'm just crushed under debt? Welcome to my brain, which is why I like to really just do things sequentially. And I know that I'll have a different perspective as time goes on, because that will be a different version of me. The version of you sitting here right now is you. But then if you go eat like a full Domino's pizza, That's going to be you after being a fat ass. No offense. That's you after eating a whole pizza. So the you that just ate a whole pizza, you might be more tired, more lazy, less hyped to go do something. You know what I mean? Like, we are affected by the choices that we make, and yeah, we're still us, but we also are different versions of us depending on the situation that we're in. If we're well fed, we could be more confident, more excited, more tired, more lazy. If we are starving, we could be more hungry, right? We could be more depressed, more miserable, more willing to deal with whatever in order to get stuff. So it really just depends, and this is why I'm always taking an inventory of my life. Hey, Davon, you are a bum. You need to go back to the gym. You need to go back to the dentist. You need to go back to your rheumatologist, because look at you, you're in body pain and you're ignoring it. This is what it means to be an adult, in my view. Certainly is what it means to be me. And I'm constantly, it used to be because I'm always on Instagram, always looking at myself in the camera, blah, blah, blah. But really, I'm just always mentally checking in with myself because of the different, just the way my life has been. It is best for me to, like, oh snap, I've let some things slide. I need to pay attention and I need to get back in order. And every time I do that, I feel more, what's that? Like something. Like reset, or just reinvigorated, or whatever. I'm just ready to get back in a upward motion, I guess. Anyway, I could blab to you guys all day long, and I think I basically have done that. But yeah, guys, I'm really excited about my future, and I really want you guys to be too. I don't want you guys to do what I've done, which is chase this girl because she's pretty, or chase this girl because she says she loves me. And when I say chase, I mean, you kind of see it as that retrospectively, but in the moment, you're like, I'm connecting with this person, this is my babe, this is my baby. We've had years of bullshit that we're holding on to with this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not the guy to tell you, break up and move on, because that will happen eventually, likely, I'm sure. Or you'll stay together and things will work out, or I don't know. I just know I'm not the expert for dating or life or friends or anything. But I do know that checking in with yourself, being honest with yourself, and by being honest with yourself, and I'll end the podcast with this, it doesn't just mean like don't be in denial, but being honest with yourself ties in with looking in the mirror and seeing like, okay, I know that I want to be surfing. I know I want to have a life where I can work and then go surf and enjoy the beach. Right now, I know that I want that. So that is me being honest with myself. I would like that life. Whether or not I can make it happen is step 2 or 3. But step 1 is, who am I? What do I like? I like the beach. I like surfing. Okay, cool. Are you willing to do what it takes to go do that? Yes, I am. Okay, cool. Now you have to brainstorm and think of a plan, and then you can execute it in a way that works with you, because you are constantly checking in with yourself, and you're constantly making sure that you're not falling off your path, because you remember, oh wait, I want to do this. I'm going to make myself do this. Here we go. And that's just what it is. So I'm getting better at that. I'm still a newbie. I'm getting better. There are things that I have wanted to do, but I just fail. I prioritize other things. I fall into habits, that type of thing. So I don't want you guys thinking I'm over here perfect, 5-star across the board. Everything in my life is going. I mean, I'm at my mother's house at 29. Things are not going how they ought to. But this year, 2025, the year of 29 for me, I'm excited. This is going to be the most focused, the most consistent that I will be, or have been rather, where I'm pursuing bigger things in life. So I'm thrilled, because this year is going to just be an upward motion, like literally. It is. It has been since the beginning of the year. We've been going on 2 weeks now. I'm just saying, like, it has been only upward, and I just cannot wait to see what I manage to do, because I'm going to really show you guys an awesome life, an awesome living, It's just going to be a matter of really believing that I can do it and really trusting the things that I want are good and not just, frivolous, fancy, silly BS things, because that can slip into the mix sometimes. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you so much for subscribing as well. And if you don't subscribe, don't worry, because YouTube loves to just throw whatever on your recommended home screen. And then you'll see me and you'll be like, hey, I remember that guy. Let's see what's going on with him. And then hopefully you'll watch, maybe you'll watch the whole thing through. If not, I don't blame you, because even I don't like to rewatch my whole episodes through. Some of them are super bangers, and I do need to re-listen to the things that I've said in the past. Some of them are like reality checks that you just have to listen to a couple of times. You know what I mean? Like, if I gave you the key to life, I'm not saying I am, but if I did, I would want you to probably listen to it a couple of times. Like, you guys remember Po from Kung Fu Panda, and he got the dragon scroll, and he finally opens up the dragon scroll, and he goes, like, he looks all around to see, like, am I sure, like, that this is it? Yeah, that's all I'm saying, is that take everything with a grain of salt and be sure to look on front and back. But anyway, that was not the best reference, but hey, at least you know I like my movies. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, like, and keep your eyes open for the next episode of Peace from These podcasts here on the Davon Raymond X YouTube channel. Of course, there's other content here on the channel. I'll probably be making a video talking about, 20, or I'll just say 10 things about being 29, because all of the Gen Z and whoever else comes after Gen Z, people will be looking up to me, Unc, ready to give you advice on how to be. All right, I'm going to get on out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, peace.